project is so important.
All right, you are Stephen,
Yes.
and you're the director of what group?
It's an American History Museum.
Uh-huh.
It's a project of the Vietnam War Museum, and it's a new design for a museum that will be constructed in one of 8 states currently, that will be stretched for more than 200 miles in a linear pattern.
Oh, okay.
So you'll be able to go back and forth in time physically. You're on a bicycle.
So this is the ultimate in tourism.
It is, well, I hope it's the ultimate in education too.
Yeah.
I think it'll be exciting, but you'll be able to learn where we got, how we got from one period to the next in a systematic way.
Well, I think it's great.
Pull from context.
Well, now, is there a specific plan or outline of what's
Yes,
going on?
actually, there are 35,800 pages in the plan.
Right.
You can the outline of it is at our website called walkforthewalk.com. Walkforthewalk.com. You
Okay.
can click and get the details of the project there. But basically, you have a black line going down the center that has every person killed in combat in American history from the
Right.
American Revolution forward. And then you've got red bricks for combat soldiers, orange bricks for every person who served in the military.
Okay.
Cream-colored bricks for civilians that did something in public service that promoted the country forward, or private enterprise that did that. There would be artists, musicians, Peace Corps volunteers, things like that, politicians. Then a blue row of bricks in red for EMTs and law enforcement officers throughout history who've either been killed in combat or did something specifically heroic. So, and they're in a timeline to where the architecture and the clothing of people who work in that era will all match that time period.
Now, this will be stretched across the United States?
No, it won't be stretched across the United States. It'll actually be a contiguous museum about 200 or 250 miles long.
Oh, okay. And what general path has been determined yet?
Well, in the Florida, Alabama region, we go from Pensacola basically through north of Mobile, Alabama. In California, you go through California headed toward Arizona. In Texas, it would go from Corpus Christi to Austin and beyond. So they've picked different routes. We've looked at one in Missouri. We've looked at one in West Virginia that follows the Rails to Trails projects.
Well, what stage of this process is it?
The design has been completed, and now it really is a matter of picking a location to put it in.
Yeah.
We've worked out the way to fund it, so we're not concerned about the funding right now. We really want to get the information out about the project so people understand the scope of this structure.
That sounds great.
It's huge. I would say it's easily the largest project in American history since the Highway Department created the highway system.
Now, are you a veteran yourself?
Yeah, I'm a vet. I'm a Coast Guard guy. We work with a multitude of veterans. This really is the foundation of this country is veterans.
Yeah, my father was a veteran.
So it's the foundation. So we wanted to build this around that reality. So as people are walking on it, I have several people comment about, do we understand that people will be walking on these bricks? Of course. And veterans worded pretty clearly. That's what we do as a nation. We've been walking on veterans for years because they set up the foundation of the nation. And everything that we do is based on their efforts and the efforts of civilians that have added to the culture and the statuses of the United States that we know today, good and bad. If you remember everything you've done in American history, and this takes it from the pages of a textbook, which are obviously confined by how big a book can be.
Right.
So this allows us to have the names there. You'll be able to walk over 100 feet away, type into a computer system, and get that person's biography. We think it'll be.
So you're anticipating this will be connected by Wi-Fi or?
There will be computer stations all along the way.
Okay.
And you'll also be online where you can go through and look at a virtual walk and pull names online and be able to click on that or type it into a computer system. We're working with other organizations that will make it to where you'll be able to type a person's name in and find who they were related to throughout the history of the United States, from one generation to the next.
Well, we have a fascinating history right here in Pocahontas County as it relates to the Civil War. We had Droop Mountain, and of course we had Camp Allegheny, where the battles were fought. Of course, there was a battle fought around this area right here. So we've got quite a history here.
We found that, that a lot of the things that are left out of textbooks now were really important to the history of the United States in general. And most of the ones that get left out are the ones that are in the smallest towns, because they get dropped out first.
Absolutely.
The ones that happen in big cities have big city populations, so they can kind of demand that their part of history be remembered, and the rest of history tends to fall off the map, even in very important battles. So this eliminates that aspect of it, because you can include all of them.
Now, you started a walk. Where did you start your walk?
I started this particular walk in Malibu, California. We drove from Pensacola, Florida to Malibu, California, and we began walking. We went through LA, through Las Vegas, through Denver, through St. Louis, so it's been kind of a zigzag to see a lot of the small towns. We wanted to see the harvest in the countries of Kansas and areas like that, come here and visit the small towns and see how they feel and how they work and how they make a living. There's an economic aspect to this that we want to make sure that people understand how the economy works. I think there's an article on there that explains what we believe is true, that it is an ecosystem, and you can't really take care of the economy if you can't take care of the ecosystem if you just feed mountain lions. If you take care of the frogs and the lizards and the raccoons and things like that, mountain lions feed themselves. I think we have to start looking at the economy as if it's an ecosystem.
That's a great thought. It really is. Now, where will your journey end?
Your journey ends in Washington, D.C., and we're going to be sharing this project in detail to people at the White House and in the Congress and the Senate.
Okay. Now, about what time? How long a time period's been going on?
We'll be there September the 10th. We started on May the 15th. So we will have walked from May 15th through September the 10th.
Now, you have a companion here with you?
Yes, Nat's one of the walkers that started out walking completely, and now, since the last person left, he's been driving and parking the vehicle ahead and then walking back, so that he's still participating in the walking part as well.
So he's literally your roadie.
He's doubled up his duties.
Now, how long you been on this route? Same amount of time. Oh, okay. So you guys walked through here, or you walked through here?
We walked from Malibu, California to get to here.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody asked me this morning how we got here, and I said,
Who won the game?
You're between Malibu, California and Washington, D.C. So that's how we came from Arlington.
Wow, that's interesting.
And it's been interesting. You know, I got to go through coal mines, and they're
Medium,
darker and danker than I imagined they would be, even harder to get down into.
But you're all cleaned up. You don't look like a walker.
Well, we created this, and normally when I'm walking, I'll actually put on my tie.
Yeah.
We don't want people to think it's a protest.
Oh, okay.
So at least if they see us and we're in a white shirt, black slacks, and a tie, they might ask what we're doing. And when they find out we're walking, it clearly means that we're not out here protesting something.
My